we are unmuted, by the way.
Oh,
Uh,
I figured as much. I mean, at this
are we?
point, anybody that watches us is used to us just spending like 10 minutes bullshit.
Yeah, but nobody heard. So,
Oh,
I
oh,
heard. I heard.
I'm coming for you, bro. Okay.
well, they can hear us now.
hmm
Hello, chat.
Hello, chat. Welcome in. Welcome in, Raiders from JD Love.
I'm just gonna check my profile
We
picture.
actually have JD Love in here with us as one of our players right now.
I'm actually going to
She's a
do.
bad.
I just realized that. Keep going, Zanzu. I just realized I messed up Combis. I need to move him right here so we can still see the chat. YouTube
Oh,
can
yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
maybe I need to move him over here away from Ari.
Move them
No,
beside
no, put me closer. See what happens.
it. I was going to say put them in between Marcus and Caden. Or Marcus and.
I mean, you're not wrong. There was a time.
Yeah. All right. So we're just a bunch of goofballs playing D&D together. This is our Fate campaign. It is set in the Nasu verse. And for the recap, last time,
Dragon Ball Z.
you have no idea how hard I had to restrain myself from not saying that.
Okay, we said it for you.
Thank you. It means the world to me. Anyways, so last time in our campaign, Marcus, you wound up saying goodbye to everybody as they left. And through a series of events that I'll let you describe, uh,
I'm good. You're
oh,
traumatizing.
I've read your notes. I love them. Marcus finds himself in the Chapel of the Calling in London, ready to meet back up with everybody who have all been sent as to perform a favor for Jacques, the prophet of the chapel, as a means to repay the debt of reviving Snowflake. Before this, however, they met up with Laguna, the newest addition to their party.
The present
After,
but ever not present, Laguna.
yes. Now, as a part of this favor, they've come across a quest that Jacques has uncovered about maybe some possible body snatching. Who knows?
Yeah, I love that band.
Aren't they great? Anyways, um, moving along on that, they got some information from Jacques about it, but decided to kill time first by going around to the shops. Which case, they actually received. I say they, but it's been mostly Flicker who received gifts.
I need to check my inventory.
So, Flicker, you actually went to Johnson's Tinker Shop where Philip gave you a dart cane. Ash remembers the next part. You did not actually purchase the fedora yet. Everybody wanted to
Fuck.
wait. Everybody they didn't want to make that decision for you. Nobody else was interested in the fedora, but it was made up to decide if you would be the one to buy it. And this is a fedora that you it was actually offered to the group of you. Well, between Hope and Flicker, but with the rest of you being friends at a very discounted price. It is called the Affinity Fedora.
What are
let's
the
let's face it,
What kind
he'll pull off the fedora better.
I am actually going to go ahead and share so that you'll have the chance to read through it.
Whoa.
It is the cost of 150 pounds, but he said he is willing to sell it to you for half off for 75.
Don't worry, we're gonna get paid after this.
Yeah, that was at the end of my session notes. My last session notes was next session. Go get paid! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Yeah, we didn't wait around for our paycheck apparently.
Yeah, you guys just took off.
Nero.
It was at this point between everything because you have that, and then there is the specialty darts for your cane that is actually being sold by the Bronson and Son Pharmacy. I am sharing that now. There's a poison dart, a paralyzing dart, a sleep dart, a fire dart, an ice dart, and an electro dart.
All the darts.
Not all the darts are the same price. Some of them cost more.
Oh, that paralysis looks very, very nice. Oh,
Yeah. Noting
Alright.
that they get continuous saves against the paralysis and I think the poison.
that puts it.
Yeah. The poison and the paralysis, they both get repeated saves against. But those are your choices. The 3 effect darts are each 1 shilling. Whereas the fire, ice, and electro darts are each a pound apiece for a single dart. So, some possible shopping choices you guys might have to make. The time is currently 12:30 p.m. Now, you have decided that you are going to meet back up at the Chapel of Calling to get the specific details of where to go. Okay, thank you for that, Combi. But right now, you are actually headed back to the clock tower in order to meet
Get
up
paid.
with Deanne to get paid.
Yay!
That'd be
Payment.
nice.
That'd be very nice. Unfortunately, the world revolves around money.
Good. Let me get paid.
Let him have the fedora.
I want the fedora.
So I am actually going to move the time up to 12:45. It being a 15-minute walk back to the clock tower itself.
I was afraid it was going to be an hour.
No,
I keep.
No, we weren't that far from all the shops.
All right.
yeah, the clock tower is like 15 minutes from the area of where the shops themselves are. And then I think the chapel's like 30 minutes away. So is there any kind of conversations you guys are wanting?
Well, I'm excited for my new umbrella.
That fedora looks cool. I want it.
Laguna, did you see anything you wanted?
No.
Okay. Attempt at conversation failed.
Capitalism. We used to have this back in China.
I do have one question. Ari, would you be interested in getting darts that's more in line for your rogue abilities?
We'll see how much we get from. We'll see how much we get, and I might be interested in paralyzing sleep.
I know that these darts are specifically made for the cane, but I think it would be really cool if Ari had some the darts too. I say as hope.
I will note, because it's been a while since last session, these darts are capable of being shot by the cane and thrown.
Oh well.
Or you can just stab them into somebody.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that is
snake stab.
typically how darts are typically a thrown weapon.
Just use them like
Snake
jacks.
stab.
Scatter them on the ground.
I don't think that's
Sneak
how
stab.
it works.
Snake
No,
stab.
They're like
you'd have to
Legos.
like kind of half bury it, and then they would have to step on it just right.
Yeah.
Sneak stab.
Stabby, stabby.
It'd be just easier to sneak up and just stab him in the neck with it like it's a freaking syringe.
Assassin's Creed style.
Yeah,
Or
these darts would focus more like syringe bullets, though, considering the chemicals inside of them.
Assassin's Creed style, take off a finger.
Is Ari ready to lose a finger?
it's a sacrifice I'm
science.
willing to make.
Alrighty.
But I was thinking more Dexter style.
Oh,
Oh, jeez.
yes!
Oh lord. Oh boy. Oh boy.
yes!
Oh boy. You don't say.
Have you seen the previews for the reboot yet?
Not yet.
I've seen the previews for the reboot. I'm not really interested in a reboot because the original did so well with the backstory anyway, and New Blood was a good finisher. I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't go into the Sun Saga.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They should, instead of doing a reboot, they should have done a continuance of going into the Sun Saga.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
Yeah,
Like, make it part of the story if people really wanted to know, but like have it its own independent series as a fresh new story.
yeah. Instead of doing just a reboot.
Well, that's just my opinion. Okay, so any more?
The fedora is good for style points. The fedora is also good for attack spellcasters.
Minus
Negative 3 charisma.
I want to feel again.
All right. So, is this our conversation heading up into the
Yes, we're
clock
talking
tower?
about a show that does not exist yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Maybe the novel
Or a
series
video game
existed.
franchise.
Yeah.
I just described the style of which I'm going to do it. If I do end up grabbing these darts.
Well, let's get paid first. We just walk up.
As you make your way over to the office of where Deanne is, you see her writing away paper after paper, looking over documents, signing, shuffling papers around back and forth.
Oh, I know she's miserable.
She does not look happy. But
Paperwork, the bane of all adventurers.
Yes.
yeah. But as the five of you walk in, she looks up and says, "Well, so nice of you to join us again, Marcus. I trust everything went well with your journey with Jacques."
She knows. She knows.
She told him to.
I
He
mean,
flat out, he said that last session that she told him to. He told Marcus, "Look, Deanne told me to come grab you, so here."
that's not the part I'm laughing at. I'm laughing at the part that she knows what Marcus experienced.
Oh. Sorry, I stepped away to go get some migraine meds.
Oh. So whenever you guys walked in, she immediately greets everyone and she says, "So nice of you to join us again, Marcus. I hear you had a pretty interesting trip with Jacques."
I don't want to talk about it.
She shrugs and gives off a smile. She said, "It's actually a good thing that you all stopped in as soon as you did. I actually have something that I need to discuss with the five of you." She motions to a set of chairs that is positioned in front of her desk. 5 chairs exactly set down.
I'll take the middle one.
I take one of them.
I get the far left one and I scoot it back 5 feet.
I want the far right.
Are you gonna scoot it back 5 feet too?
No.
Does Ari need a booster seat?
I'll just follow.
She's
I'll.
At this point, as you guys go to sit down, she pulls up was effectively a stack of brochures, and you see her tap them on the desk to straighten them out. And then she stands up, goes to the edge of the desk, and sits at the corner of it, looking at the five of you. She said, "So, as you know, officially, you're all members of the clock tower. And each of you has your own reasons and your own means of our protection for the assignments that you do. However, it is a bit necessary that in order to continue on with everything, that you take classes with the clock tower.
What do you mean by classes? We're not all of us.
Have you never gone to a school?
I was raised by the church.
Sunday
As a-
school.
Yeah.
Look, I immediately get the sour look
I
on
don't
his
think they
face.
actually called it Sunday school then. It was just
Service.
service, yeah.
So effectively, you are all granted the opportunity for education into the mage world. However, what's different for the 5 of you is you will be given private tutors instead of having to attend long, boring, monotonous lecture halls. This will actually aid you with your studies and give you a chance to study at a pace that is more familiar to you. All classes that you sign up for, of course, the bill will be footed by our department. By the way, I will need these returned by tomorrow at 5 p.m. with your decisions. Each class is approximately 2 hours with a tutor. You can have up to 4 classes at a time. However, one of your classes has already been decided for you. All 5 of you, whether or not you want to be, are signed up for the self-defense course every morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then she begins to hand out brochures to you. So feel free to look over these to decide what courses would interest you the most. And as well as any future goals that you may have.
Let's see if I can make this bigger.
So I am going to go ahead and just go over like the briefness of it. Just the headlines. For basic courses, you have the self-defense, which all 5 of you are entered in. You have no choice in that matter. So you can effectively choose 3 more classes. You have history of magic, practical application of magic, biology, and botany. And then after you complete those, you open up intermediate classes that are related to your basic ones. And then after that, there's advanced classes and honor classes. He said, no real rush. Take your time. Like I said, you have until 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon in order to get back with me with your final decisions. But in the meantime, as she gets up and she shuts the door to the office, I believe we also have some more private affairs to discuss. She goes back, leans up against her desk as she looks at the five of you. More specifically, everyone but Laguna, especially. So, Switzerland, what happened?
Well, Murphy's Law, I reckon. Anything that could happen could go wrong, went wrong. Hope goes into a brief detail about the plane that went down, followed by getting into the inn, going into the forest, finding the zombies, meeting up with Lisa, and then having Lisa be called a criminal, and then the heist into the museum before coming back into the village, finding all the villagers except for one being massacred, and then the villain that we were actually supposed to apprehend, the guy who was behind it, turned out not to be the main villain, but an archfiend, supposedly. Not to mention the archfiend we also ran into named Slavone.
I'm going to correct you on something.
Okay.
The guy that you were supposed to capture was not the Archfiend. He was killed by the Archfiend.
Correct. I was trying to imply that we thought he was the one responsible, but it turned out his master was the one that was responsible.
I will also make an inference that he has stated that his master was Slavone.
Oh.
This whole thing, Griselda and them, their master was Beltrix.
Beltrix, correct. And
Slavone was the one. Roll me a perception check, Ari.
Oh no.
You really see absolutely nothing but papers on the desk. There is a bookshelf that Laguna is currently going through, filtering books. It is a very plain room. All right. All right. So, getting back to you. So, the museum got wrecked. It was ran by a necromancer. She's got her hand over her face at this point. And then you see a smile come on her face as she looks at all of you real excited. Aren't necromancers so much fun?
Without the cane, yes.
Rickard seems to think so.
What?
No, his thing is the
Pardon?
archfiend.
Did you know that if you hit a necromancer hard enough, they let out a really high pitched squeal that sounds like a girl screaming?
We did find out about that. Yes.
Did you also know if you go through and ruin their lair, you can make them cry?
We kind of noticed that as well.
They're very emotional. It's a lot of fun messing with them.
Yes.
Noted.
It seems like the necromancer was not the one involved in slaughtering of the villagers, but rather a different archfiend.
What did this archfiend look like?
We did not meet him personally. Me, Ari, and Flicker had to handle their his subordinates, Gretchen and Han, I guess.
Hans.
What was it?
Griselda, Hans, and Jorgen.
Yes, Griselda, Hans, and Jorgen.
The Archfiend did mention the Vanquisher.
And then there was whatever Lisa, Viola, and Marcus encountered. Which I guess that would be left to Ash since he was Marcus at the time.
So, Marcus, are you talking about whenever you first met up with Savon? That he mentioned the Vanquisher?
No, I'm talking about the chain.
Archfiend's party message is all I've got written down.
Okay.
I was talking more about the chainsaw that just ripped through the museum.
It wasn't a chainsaw, but it was a sword slash. Marcus, you were the only one to see let me find where the hell is the images? There we go.
It sounds like Jade's
Oh.
having a good time.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna say anything. I thought it was small barking or bed creaking.
Bed
Oh
creaking?
no! Can you hear
Yup.
the? Oh no! Can you
Yes.
hear the frogs in the background?
I hear the dogs in the background, I think.
No, they're frogs.
Frogs. Wait, frogs?
Oh, so it's
Yes.
croaking.
It's
We're
croaking.
hearing croaking.
Oh my
Mm.
gosh! I'm gonna be on mute until I'm needed.
So
Oh.
I am going to, because Decaden, it's not really fair to you to have to describe this since Ash was technically playing Marcus at the time.
Yeah, because I never wrote down a description.
Yeah, so I'm going to share an image just showing, and I will note that what you saw was a blade. It had a lot of clockwork gears along the sides of it. It seemed like it was capable of folding. And then the description of it was black flames slicing through everything. But this is effectively who you saw.
This Danganronpa looking murder hobo.
It is actually not from Danganronpa.
I get where he's coming from with the art style, though.
Yeah.
Who else but Komeda?
No, actually, I think it's from one of the Fate series. I won't
Yeah.
say the name of it.
It should be your favorite Fate series. It's the one with Astolfo.
What are you talking to?
You, Combi.
Fuck you.
Well, I mean, you keep using Astolfo as your PFP.
I do not have him anymore, mind you.
Oh, you figured out his true gender.
That's why you had to
I
make a new
finally
account.
figured it out.
In case
But,
anyone's wondering, it's Apocrypha.
Yeah. But so that's effectively who you saw, Marcus. And she is currently asking, so tell me, what did this archfiend look like?
Young man, blonde hair, white hair, red eyes. Waistcoat.
You said white hair, red eyes.
Early to mid 20s.
She holds up a finger. You said white hair, red eyes.
Correct.
Those are usually the signs of a homunculus.
Homunculus? Isn't that usually
Richter
dealt
just raises
with
a
by
hand.
the Eisenberg family?
Among other alchemists, they're usually crafted by alchemists.
But if
So tell me what exactly happened at the museum.
well, we found some ancient relics that was actually nestled inside. We had attempted to try to retrieve the items, only to find out it was a trap. We handled the necromancer and managed to capture him. Not to mention, found out that his basement in the museum was, in fact, filled with dead bodies. We had attempted to go and send news and get everything together to leave, only Marcus stayed, and Ari, Flicker, and I returned to the village. By the time we returned back to the museum, it was in shambles. It also appeared that Viola, Lisa, and Marcus had been severely outmatched.
So I'm guessing this is where you encountered the second archfiend.
Correct.
Is there anything else you can tell me?
There is. On our way back to the museum, we found a young woman in a red robe carrying a scythe who was on the trail of said archfiend.
She just sits there and nods her head. You said a woman in a red robe with a scythe.
Yes, we initially thought she was the one for the murder of the villagers. Only it came to find out that she was actually chasing the one
Yeah.
responsible.
Anything you can tell me about her?
I forgot if we got her name or not. Maybe if
She
we-
never gave a name. I will reshare the image.
Okay, so it's not red robe, it's black apparently. She donned a white mask, but the back of it seemed like she had marred skin and long red
No,
hair.
you could not. I will state you could not see past the mask.
Ah,
Like everything was blurred beyond the mask. You couldn't tell anything about her eyes or her eye color.
yeah, that's what I'll say.
Yeah. And the mask itself seemed to be made of bone.
Yes.
Marcus, roll me a history check. Or religion. It sounds familiar. Something about the mask itself sounds familiar. Flicker and everybody else, when you're doing your classes, just create a note under the player notes. Create a note and then get back to me with that.
Yeah, I just DM'd you mine.
That works too. DM me, that way I can actually get through and but Marcus, this mask, it feels something about it resonates with you. More specifically, something about your following.
Okay.
It feels very familiar, but you can't quite place it at this time.
Are you talking about the order that I'm part of? Not when you say
Yeah.
my file. Okay. Just wanted to make sure my notes are accurate.
Yeah, part of your order. Something
So
about it.
basically, it feels like they're part of the order. It would be my assumption based on
At
the
the very
feeling I'm getting.
least, the feeling that you're getting, it feels as if it's somehow related to your order.
Okay.
And then them describing her hunting, actively pursuing the Archfiend, really feels like something someone in your order would do. At this point, Deanne's going to look at you, Marcus, and she's going to say, so is there any other details you can give me about this Archfiend?
Aside from his parting words about the Vanquisher, no. That's about it. He did call me an Alice touched.
Elias touched, you mean?
Yeah, Elias.
I think he said that to the three of us too.
Well, that one's a little more simple to explain. Vanquisher. See, you got me confused at this point, Decaden. Which Archfiend made the reference to Vanquisher?
No idea. My notes say the Archfiend's parting message. Let's see. It's the one where where Marcus and Flicker were by the let's see, hang on. Let me just go through my notes.
Oh, that was Sylvan.
After that, they feel a disturbance, and half the group goes after the disturbance while the other half stays behind. Hope and Ari try to claim a horse. Marcus and Flicker discover the presence of an Archfiend. The Archfiend's parting message, the Vanquisher, we will meet again, Elias touched.
Okay, so you can very readily pick up on your order with your specific order, the Vanquisher being a reference to you. Because that is what your order does. So Marcus would be able to pick up on that.
Okay.
Yeah. So at this point, she's going to stretch out. Elias touched. To be frank, each of you have your own special abilities, do you not?
We do.
So, how much has any of you heard of between Gaia and Alaya?
Pardon?
I'm going to say no on that because I don't think Hope was ever introduced to such teachings. It was mostly that of the Christian faith, and everything else was Baal, which is
Marcus, I will. Anybody that wants to have some knowledge, Marcus and Laguna, actually. Laguna, you can roll Arcana for this. Marcus, you can roll Religion for this. Okay, Marcus, you have some basic knowledge of there being two different forces that basically watch over the planet in the background. You would know that Gaia watches over the planet itself and the environments. You would also have some basic knowledge that there is a consciousness of humanity, or rather a subconsciousness that is collected together in its own force known as Alaya. Laguna, you have the knowledge that Alaya itself is not only there as a subconscious of humanity, but it also acts as a deterrent to protect humanity as a whole. You know that basically going down to the root, which is effectively the Akashic records of the planet, true knowledge, it is seen as something that is very self-destructive. Both Gaia and Alaya are connected to the root. And occasionally, whenever something threatens, if something were to threaten the environment as a whole, Gaia would awaken. and do something about it. And if something were to occur that humanity might be threatened, Alaya would awaken and either grant powers to specific individuals in order to either protect the root itself or to protect humanity from a great evil, or it would also take other actions. That being said, you also have the knowledge that Alaya exists as the good for humanity as a whole. So it is not opposed to wiping out entire cities of humans in order to protect the greater good of humanity. It will wipe out an entire culture if it protects the future of humanity.
And the Archfiend called them Alaya touched.
He referred to them as Elias touched.
Okay, so they're just against humanity.
Not specifically. You would be able to piece together between your own mystic eyes, and she made a reference to the others having their own abilities, that everybody, each of the five of you, has something that was gifted to them by Alaya.
I'll try and convey that to the group.
That's the most words you've spoken in like a minute.
And then immediately go back to the book and look away.
I like the image of he didn't even look away from the book. He's just reading the book and in the background saying all this in like a flat tone, and then just goes quiet and goes back to reading.
Well, that explains some things, I reckon.
Yeah. So effectively, when he's making a comment about Elias touched, it means directly those touched by Elijah, or possibly those chosen by Elijah.
Chosen.
Or what? I have no idea. We did know that it was a possibility when we brought each of you in.
A possibility. What are you inferring to?
When we first brought each of you in over your own specific abilities, we told you that, you would be granted freedom. You would be granted, we wanted to see you enhance these abilities. We wanted to study how these abilities would evolve.
Is this a common occurrence?
No. Normally, abilities like yours, mages can spend an entire lifetime, 80 plus years, hoping to achieve. Other mages will go into the black market in order to obtain body parts holding said abilities and imprint it into themselves in order to gain these abilities.
And the fact that just 5 of us just so happen to be gifted these abilities, I'm guessing.
At the same time, in the same general location.
sign.
And that's why we get exploited for missions.
I.
Unfortunately, if it was up to the church, you would either be immediately incarcerated or slaughtered where you stand.
Hope's familiar with that term.
I already get persecuted enough for what I am.
Yeah. The fact that my little section of the church that actually knows me and raised me are the only ones who actually, well, and Hope's not speaking this. This is just a fact. I don't think they would appreciate what Hope is. And I say this because I think Marcus already knows, and it
Yes.
scares Hope because she's not fully aware of what Marcus thinks.
So, effectively, in that dynamic, Marcus knows exactly what you are, Hope. You don't know that Marcus knows because he's never made a mention of it.
Okay.
But
And-
Marcus, no, yeah, Marcus.
And to be
knows.
frank, Marcus doesn't care what you are as long as you're a good person inside. That's all Marcus cares about.
Well, he actually hasn't said that to Hope either. He's
Well,
just,
no, that's just player sharing.
Yeah, play your
Yeah.
show.
yeah. So, as far as what Hope knows, nobody knows.
You
You don't know that he knows that you know that he doesn't know that you know he doesn't know you know.
It's a lot
It's
of that.
very much, yeah, there's a lot of that feeling. So, Flicker and Ari spent some time with you. There's a chance that they might suspect something, especially after the fire incident. But Marcus knows. And you don't know that Marcus knows. So you're oblivious to anybody knowing anything about you.
I am completely. Nobody knows who I am. They don't know we actually know. It's
Yeah.
that situation.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense that they suspect something, but at the same time, it was like, I am.
Oh, you do know. You do know that Deanne knows. She made it very clear to you
I
when you
know
first
that
met.
Leah knows. Yes, I'm
Yes.
very aware of that. So when she mentioned
It is actually.
incarceration and stuff like that, Hope
It
is
is actually. It is actually semi-disturbing to each of you just how much Deanne knows about each of you.
Yes.
Well, Marcus isn't surprised because he was brought to the clock tower for what he is.
I don't know. I was picked off on the side of the road. It's just, SUV style.
No, you actually got involved in your own little skirmish with a set of demons, and Deanne was involved in that.
Oh, yes. Now I remember. I couldn't remember exactly.
Flicker's the one that got picked up off the side of the road.
I thought he was Princess carried out.
He was after he got picked up off the side of the road.
Don't worry, Flicker. I'll princess carry you.
He's got the right avatar for that now.
Okay.
Okay.
So, here's the thing from our end. Nobody knows anything about what happened in Tellus. Nobody even knows that Tellus existed. And that might not surprise you, But judging from the records that I've received from Viola doesn't remember anything that happened in Tellus directly.
Hope thinks back to the boy they saved, and remembers that he didn't remember what happened.
He didn't remember Jovi.
Right, he didn't remember Jovi specifically.
Yeah. What happened with Viola is she effectively forgot an entire town. She remembers most of the events. She remembers being at a museum. She remembers collecting the necromancer with the four of you. She doesn't remember a town named Tellus.
How is that even possible? Does this apply to Lisa as well?
Yes,
And how is it we remember? Is
they
it
don't
because,
remember anything about an archfiend either.
is it because we're Elias touched? More to herself
It,
than she says out loud.
I don't know if that has something to do with it. I don't know if whoever crafted the enchantment to cause everyone to forget about Tellus just chose to exclude you for some reason. We don't know anything about it. I say we, but it's really just me. Nobody else is privy to your information but me. Which brings me to the next point. The Catholic Church is wanting to nose into our business to an extent. I told you what happened to Felix. I showed you his room. They have taken a very vested interest in Felix's disappearance. You may be approached asking if, excuse me, you may be approached being asked if any of you helped him to run away, or if you met up with him outside of London anywhere. Now, I know, of course, that you didn't. However, the exact particulars of your mission is being withheld from the Catholic Church due to the uproar that it would cause. I am going to ask if you encounter Felix, be sure don't immediately assume that he is a friend. Because off of his actions, we're not certain that he wasn't a spy himself. And if you happen to come across him, make sure you notify us as soon as you're physically possible. As soon as it's physically possible to. Do we have a deal?
Yes.
See.
For those of you, she looks at Laguna, Marcus, and Ari. For those of you who haven't met Felix before, and she pulls out a picture and shares it with all of you.
Dun 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 dun.
Ah.
Is something the matter, Marcus?
Looks awfully familiar.
Wait, is this the homunculus you fought?
Yep.
Then it was... As I say with anime suspense.
So you're telling me that the supposed archfiend that you fought at the museum,
Looks just like that.
Yes, he's very handsome 1-to-1.
Astolfo thought he was very handsome too. I'm so going to get us banned or something. Anyways. Well, this certainly does change things. At this point, I'll let Lord Trembelio know. If we are to encounter Felix, he is to be treated as an enemy of the clock tower. If his body has been taken over by an archfiend, as much as I want to, I don't know if we have a way of saving him.
But was he not a paladin? Shouldn't his faith guarded him?
Sometimes, in rare occasions, paladins undergo a crisis of their faith. When this happens, it's not at all uncommon for them to turn their back on their deities as well.
Generally, they're called oath breakers.
She
Oathbreakers.
nods. If there's an archfiend, or technically any fiend that is looking for a possession and they come across one, they do not have the divine protection from their deity if they've turned their back on them and rejected them.
If we come across him, do you expect us to fight him? Or should we run and notify you immediately?
If you have to fight to survive, fight to survive, but focus on your own survival first. If it's truly to the level of an archfiend, which brings in many more questions to begin with, but if it is something to the level of an archfiend, I don't expect you to be able to handle him. But if he doesn't give you another option, you might have to at least be able to fight enough in order to get away. At this point, you see her turn around and go to the other side of the desk, and she sits back in her chair, and you see her start reaching down. Is there anything else about Switzerland you wish to tell me?
I think we told her everything. We're not sure. I know I did like a brief recap and explained a little bit about Sylvain. And the fact that he has a crush on Flicker for some inexplicable reason.
Fuck you.
If you actually mention that, she'll make the comment of, well, we might be able to use it as bait later.
I say no.
We'll be able to. She stops reaching down, and you see her put both of her elbows up on the desk, and her hands come up, and she like cups over her face as she looks up and takes a thanking gesture. If we were to get enough of high-level priests together, we might be able to at the least banish it back. And if it truly has decided to have some sort of attachment to Flicker,
Wouldn't that put Flicker at a great risk? He might end up getting possessed like Felix was.
she's quiet for a moment. That's true. And with his own specific abilities that we are, I guess, now referring to as a blessing from Alaya, the results could be catastrophic. Mm. We might need to keep a very close eye on Flicker. More specifically, the four of you while you're with him.
Well, 3. Laguna's gonna have his eyes in a book.
He'll learn to pull them up from the book for
Nope.
this.
It sounded like a threat.
Oh, he'll learn to pull them up. Trust me.
Nope.
If not, if I find out he goes out on assignments with you and his nose is in the book the entire time,
As long as it gets accomplished, it doesn't matter what I'm doing.
That sounds like the voice of someone who has no intention of getting involved at all.
Well,
Until he fireballs a room.
Would I actually be able to survive the fireball, considering my
don't
likelihood?
worry. Don't worry. I am fairly positive that I can convince him that it might be worth his time to look up from a book. She
Uh-huh.
gives you a devious smile.
Uh-huh.
Wake up times at 6:30 in the morning. We'll jog from one end of London to the other. If you start to slow down, or if you start to fall asleep, I know just the perfect method to perking you right back up.
Now that's a threat.
But hopefully Laguna will. He's a smart kid. I'm fairly positive he'll be intelligent enough to not have his nose in the book the entire investigation and will actually participate in things on future assignments. Speaking of assignments, she continues to reach back down, and you see her stack 4 bags. Each one has its own loud thunk, as you can hear coins jingling inside the bags. Ari, Flicker, Hope, Marcus. Originally, your pay was only going to be £50 for assisting in Switzerland. However, given the circumstances and your ability to go above and beyond what was originally asked of you, Lord Trembelio thought that perhaps it would be more fitting to double that pay.
That's the sad part. It did take us more than 3 years to complete Switzerland.
Almost 3 years. No, it took like what, 1 to 2 years, because you started Switzerland when Decaden joined up.
Yes.
So it was my fault. It took 2 more years to finish.
Nah.
Got it.
No. No, it's not your fault. It's just that's the timeline.
A lot happened in those 2 years, not gonna lie.
And the best part is that was like a 2-day period.
Yeah.
2 to 3 day period.
See, this is why it's set in the past. If we tried to do it present day, we would lose all the lingo.
Anyways. So, Ari, Flicker, Hope, and Marcus. On your inventory tab,
Already done.
You don't even know how much we were being paid.
Originally
Yeah.
50, doubled. There's 100.
Yeah.
Okay, £50
Yeah.
double.
so
50 times 2 is 51, right?
I mean, if you'd rather only take 51 instead of
Oh, I'm taking
100.
100. Fuck that.
I'll take the other 49 if he's not gonna be, take it.
Donation to the church.
Donation to the paladin.
Donation to Deanne's liquor fund. Speaking of which, at this point, you see her also bring up a bottle of whiskey as she pops the top of it and starts pouring it into a glass, closes it, keeps the bottle beside of her, picks up the glass, looks at it, looks at the paperwork. So, with that being done, I do have to go back to paperwork now. And she's just eyeballing the paperwork, looks back at the glass, sets the glass down, then pops open the bottle again, and then starts downing the bottle.
Meanwhile, we just all staring at her doing this.
First the pot, now the whiskey.
I half
I'm
expected
excited. Laguna can read what I'm typing.
Marcus is like, I'm not the only person that knows Celestial.
her.
And
I guess once we leave the office, we'll take a break.
as you're walking out of office, you just hear her. You hear a slam as her head goes down on the desk, and you hear a. I hate paperwork.
Everybody hates paperwork.
We just all send our little prayers out to her. Except, I don't know. I don't know about Flicker. I don't know about Ari. I don't even know about Laguna.
I guess only 2 people then.
Yeah.
The mature ones of the group, apparently.
So it won't be a we all do this.
Yeah,
Flicker
it went
actually,
from a we all to just the religious folk.
Flicker actually curses her. Or maybe that would be Laguna. I don't know.
No,
Laguna
Laguna's
probably-
not paying attention.
I think he actually is. He just has ADHD or something. Because he's
Laguna's
constantly...
paying attention. He's just reading at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. He's able to focus, multitask.
It's multitasking, yeah.
I keep calling it ADHD. It's not always the case.
I am going to time you guys out at 1:45, given that whole
Debriefing.
yeah, as an hour. And with that, I am going to go ahead and call for us to take a quick 10 to 15-minute break.
Yay.
Yay. We will be right back, everyone.
Welcome to my house, baby, take control now. We can't even slow down. We don't have to go out. Welcome to my house, play that music too loud. Show me what you do now. We don't have to go out.
And we are back.
Oh, I forgot. It just forgot the screen.
Yeah. So everybody was basically looking over the clock tower classes stuff, and I was given some information off of them. But yes, for like the practical application of magic, there's no spellcasting prerequisite for it. You get those cantrips. If you do not already have a spellcasting ability, it will use your intelligence modifier. However, if you have a spellcasting ability, it uses your spellcasting.
For example, Ari will use intelligence while Hope will use wisdom.
Marcus will use charisma and flicker too, and Laguna uses intelligence. It is a free cantrip that does not count towards or against any of your class stuff.
Now, the practical application. Can we take that class multiple times?
If you do that, you will be replacing the cantrip, not gaining multiple cantrips.
Aha.
Now, I will say, at the next level on intermediate, there's theoretical evolution of magic, which requires practical application and history. And that one will open up from that limited list of cantrips to any cantrip, and you can swap them out.
My personal opinion, I think Marcus should skip self-defense and go straight into like weapon training or physical training, considering he's the only combat-oriented class.
Define combat.
Like, so rogues would
Right.
technically be like a sneaky type class.
Now, here's going to be where my argument is. Considering you're all set to do these assignments together as a group, the self-defense class isn't necessarily your specific self-defense, but as group-oriented self-defense. This is going to be a custom training course meant to aid with teamwork as well as other things. This will also be the only class that we actually do a lot of role play stuff with.
Okay.
If you specifically want to role play something with one of the other classes, you're free to let me know and we can do it. But be sure to DM me what classes you're interested in taking.
All right.
Can you share the thing again with all the classes?
It's in player notes. If you go to the player notes section, it's the top one.
Oh,
Yeah, but I can go ahead and share. And if you want, on your hotbar at the bottom, you can
That's what
drop
I was doing.
Yeah.
now when you say the DC for checks,
So for like self-defense, it specifies you have to succeed a DC 10 Constitution saving throw or suffer from exhaustion for the next 4 hours of the day.
Ah.
So, spoiler alert, Deanne's your teacher for that one. History of Magic. Your DC is going to be 10, but in order to obtain it, because you're doing 20 hours instead of 40, you will have to pass with either the history or the arcana check.
So self-defense is the only class you can't double up on. All the other classes you can.
Yes.
It makes no sense, especially because most of these classes are for like casters and shit.
Self-defense, once again, the reason for that is because it's more of a group activity. If you want to go with private training, you can write that in, and she can see about doing private training with you. You will be able to go with that training, and at the end of the period, you will once again gain the additional ability point. You'll be able to have like your own private self-defense course. It will not be the same self-defense course. You have the group self-defense course. If you're wanting to stack it up, it's not going to be the group self-defense course, and this is just going to be physical enhancement course.
And I messed up. Hold on. Go back to the. Alright. So I didn't deep WWE, but I.
Here's the theory though, is like, so for me and my class build would be to go into physical training and what was the other one? Weapon training. Okay. Before I can even do that, I got to clear the basic self-defense class. So I can't progress to anything until 2 weeks. Now, let's say Jade focuses only on biology. Okay, she does 6
So-
hours of that because 2 of that. Okay, but still, she gets hers done in like 3 days, 4 days.
She will still not be able to sign up for the next course classes until after the end of the 2 weeks.
Why not? Because those the other classes don't require her to have self-defense training completed. Like the only ones that are required of.
To be upfront, Deanne is giving you a 2-week period, and then you're going off on another assignment. You will not be staying in London this entire time.
Okay, we just have 2 weeks to do our classes that we sent you.
This is the purpose of giving you private instructors, because you have a 2-week period in order to complete what you're going to complete this round. So if you do,
And based on rolls, you may not actually complete it in those 2 weeks.
exactly, you might have to redo them.
It's like college classes in a way.
Yes,
But based off the luck of the die instead of your actual application.
No,
But
for
it
me,
will
it would
use
be
the-
look at the die is the same. Knowing my shit.
now that being said, it's not one single roll. This is an average roll taken. So for every 2 hours, you're making this check. So if Ari were to go into like biology for 6 hours, she would have to make 3 checks a day until she completes it. And then if the average, like if she gets more above 10 than below 10, she'll pass the course. Does that make sense?
Out of the 20 hours or out of just the one day?
Out of the 20 hours.
Okay,
So-
that makes a little bit more sense. That makes it a
You're-
little
you're-
bit.
You're effectively making 10 checks. You're effectively making 10 checks.
And as long as you get 6 of the 10, you complete the class. So as long as you get a C average, you're good.
Yes. Well, technically, I'm going with 5 of the 10, but
Not gonna lie, this is really in depth. Well done, Senzu.
Unless you're a fighter type.
well,
And
Actually, there
here's the
is
thing.
weapon
Left.
training. That would be good for me.
well, here's the thing.
intermediate class, I can't
Here's-
take that until we get back to London. So that's why I was like, I'm kind of stuck just with the 2-hour class.
So here's the thing. Like, looking at history and magic, are you proficient in history or arcana?
No.
Would you like to pick up an extra proficiency bonus in either history or arcana? You have
No.
that option. You have that
It-
option without it penalizing anything.
Right.
off
But
of
it
Skipper. Yeah.
history and arcana are based off my intelligence score, right? Okay.
No, charisma.
The modifier
No,
history
it's
and arcana are based off of charisma.
intelligence.
That's new. Right. Okay. My intelligence score is 11, so it's a +0. I don't really get a benefit for having a proficiency in history or arcana. Again, it
So,
really doesn't
right
benefit me.
It doesn't benefit you immediately, other than the fact that right now you would get a +2. And then at level 5, you would have a +3. And then at level 9, you'd have a +4. As your proficiency bonus increases, you would get a higher bonus regardless of what your intelligence score was.
Right. Versus somebody who has the intelligence plus proficiency in it,
Yeah.
They're gonna have a better time at that. My point is it's not really beneficial to somebody like Marcus to study the history of magic. He's not really a spellcaster. He's a divine caster, which is a whole separate thing.
So
But he's
here-
more combat oriented even as a divine caster.
So here's my question. When you encounter a creature that you yourself are unfamiliar with, Marcus might have some knowledge of that. In order to roll to see if Marcus has knowledge of that, you would be rolling either Arcana or Nature. And then that would give you info as to whether or not you know any specific weaknesses of these creatures. And if Marcus already knows these weaknesses with his proficiency bonus, especially given he is a combat class, and if you happen to go up against an Eldritch or Abomination or, something along those lines where you would have to roll Arcana or like a specific type of spirit where you could roll Arcana, having the +2 on there would be better than the +0.
With my dice rolls, no, it won't.
I mean, it at least is better than a flat roll. And then Marcus can sit there and roll that, and he has a better chance at being able to look at this and saying, I know this thing's weakness, and I know how to defend and attack against it. So I wouldn't say that it's completely useless. Now, if you do want to focus on pure physical stuff, by all means, like I said, you would have the group self-defense for 2 hours. And if you did the 6 hours of regular self-defense, once again, you would have a DC 10 Constitution saving throw every 2 hours. to determine whether or not you're gaining exhaustion for a 4-hour period. I will note for that one, that is the only check required. It actually specifies that, so you wouldn't actually be making any checks to determine whether or not you pass.
Well, having an 8-hour defense training is not going to do me any good, especially if we're not going to be able to do the intermediate classes until we get back to London after the 2 week or the next mission. So I mean, generally it doesn't matter. I mean, I'll do the 2 hours and then go fuck off.
I will say I may decide that you can attempt to sign up early. Originally, I was trying to keep it in that order in order to make things easier on myself. But I may be willing to let you start on the weapon training. However, if it gets interrupted, it's interrupted. And there might be, depending on how long it takes for you to return back to that class, there might be a certain number of hours subtracted back off of it if you are unable to complete a proper check.
Not if we're on a mission for 2 years. Might as not even well start it.
Well, like I said, your last mission was a week. And that's including travel time.
Well, so if he took 4 self-defense in a row, he fails the first check, gains exhaustion, and then thus every single check after that he is exhausted and has basically automatically
Disadvantage. Yeah.
Then you fail the class.
Right.
He didn't fail the class, but he is
If
severely
there's only
exhausted.
a certain amount of checks, if they're doing 10 checks,
Yeah.
and he fails 3 of them
You
immediately.
fail the first 4.
Yeah. Like I said, for self-defense, there's not a check to determine if you pass it. It's just to determine if you're exhausted.
But the thing still applies. Is he would, if he gets exhaustion on the first one, then he automatically essentially fails all the rest of them. So he made 0 progress that day.
Well, what he would do is he would actually go in first. The first time he failed, it'd be 4 hours. And then the second failure would extend that exhaustion up to 8-hour period. The next one would extend that exhaustion up to a 24-hour period. And then the fourth one would give the second level of exhaustion.
Actually, no, I believe the 4th one he would just pass out. I don't think the exhaustion level goes beyond that. I think you just go to straight unconsciousness after that.
And here I thought Zanzu was the one who wanted to kill Marcus.
He is.
You can have up to 7 levels of exhaustion.
Wasn't it 6?
Oh, is it 7?
I thought it was
7.
6.
Well, technically 6, but 7 is the one that kills you. So what I'm saying is, instead of giving you multiple points of exhaustion, the first one fails you for 4 hours. You got that 1 exhaustion point for 4 hours. If you fail again, that same exhaustion point will extend up to 8 hours, up to a 24-hour period.
Yeah, see, first level exhaustion is disadvantage on ability checks. 2 is speed halved. 3 would be the disadvantage on saving throws and attack rolls. 4, you would your max health would be halved. 5, your speed would be reduced to 0, and then 6 is death.
It's like another 7.
There is no unconscious.
Essentially, your 4 fails would be basically you just put your life at half.
Well, no, your 4 fails effectively would be the 1 level of exhaustion. You're just extending how long it extends for. Because at the first failure, you have it for only a 4-hour period. Which is just the checks. Now, this is a saving throw. So if you fail the saving throw again, it extends up to an 8-hour period. It's still the same exhaustion point. It's just lasting longer and longer up to a 24-hour period.
If an already exhausted creature suffers from another effect that causes exhaustion, its current level of exhaustion increases by the amount specified in the effect's description.
Now,
Man,
I
I'm
am
going to be
trying to
taking
be
most of these classes, I think.
Now, I am trying to be a very nice and fair DM. If you're wanting to specifically make it harder and more difficult to kill your character off, we can. But I'm wanting to do something new and innovative in order
I'm
to
also
grant.
going based off of what you said in the beginning, is he can only do the 2-hour self-defense class, and that's it. So, I mean, we'll just
Yeah.
leave it at that.
Yeah, he can
Because
do
there's no
that.
point in me doing the extra 6 hours if I can't really progress into intermediate classes, is what I'm getting at. The idea would be to get him combat ready versus, having some extra flavor in something he's not going to use. And I'm speaking as Marcus's perspective, not me. Like, yeah, sure, having history of magic under my belt would be nice as a player. But
Yeah.
for the character is not going to think of, oh, I should take history of magic because then I can use this to determine, what I'm fighting's weaknesses. He's not going to think like that. Again, his intelligence isn't that high. So he's not going to think that this would be beneficial. He's going to go, let me get myself more combat ready so that way I can defend my allies. That is why when I started piecing the schedule together, I put 8 hours of combat or self-defense just so he can get prepped for the intermediate classes.
Yeah.
And then that way
And-
he can have his weapon training and physical training so
And
he can be stronger for his allies.
Yeah. Now, I just sit there and also after that specified that I would
Exactly
be
what-
willing to change my mind to let you do the 8 hours of self-defense if you really wanted. And then specified that you could technically start like the weapon training and physical training. However, if it gets interrupted for another mission, there might be some other consequences.
I mean, if we got 2 weeks, he can complete the first basic course in a week. And then if he's doing 4 hours of weapon and physical training a piece, he would be able to do it, essentially complete both of them. Granted, that's if the dice are nice and I complete all the checks, yada, yada.
Well,
Essentially, he would be done in 2 weeks with the 2 intermediate classes I had planned out. Again, all based off assuming the dice are in my favor.
so once again, with the self-defense, if the dice aren't in your favor, all you're doing is just wearing yourself out. You're not actually failing the class. Self-defense is impossible to fail. Weapon training is basically rolling periodic attack rolls with this chosen weapon. Physical training, once again, it's a Constitution saving throw, not an actual check. This is for the more physical stuff. There's not actual checks involved to pass. It's just saving throws to determine whether or not you're exhausted. So, regardless of what the dice rolls go, you would be able to effectively pass the class as long as you don't kill yourself with exhaustion.
I have a question.
Go for it.
Can we quit the classes if we are starting to become too exhausted in order to save our life? Or drop a
If
class?
So, like in the case of Marcus, if he takes the 8 hours and he gets to a point where he has a full level of exhaustion for a full day, if he decides, I want to take a break, maybe take 2 hours off the class, he can skip that class. He just will not gain the credit for those 2 hours.
Okay.
So,
You
Like-
wouldn't necessarily quit. The only thing that would lose you progress would be going on a mission for an extended period of time.
which you guys have a habit of not really going on the mission for extended period of times. you go in, you do something, you come out. It's very quick. Your missions are. It's just all the different details that we go into as players tend to cause the sessions to go longer. So once again, you literally spent longer traveling to and from Switzerland than what you did actually spend in Switzerland.
Now, here's a question. Okay, so Marcus is proficient in both simple and martial weapons. So there's not really a weapon he can't use. So let's say he does this course and he's focusing on long swords, right? Is there any bonus?
You can gain expertise.
Okay, so he would get an expertise instead. All right, that's.
Yes.
I was just like, is there going to be a point to take a weapon proficiency or weapon training if he's already proficient in all weapons?
Yeah, you can gain expertise in a weapon.
So would
Okay.
that apply to like botany as well? You get double proficiency in nature.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Now, this is going off of, in order to enhance, it is in the raw that in order to enhance a proficiency bonus, you must spend like 20 hours continuously doing this one active action with this proficiency bonus. And according to the rules as written, if you do that, you can gain proficiency in it technically, and technically upgrade a proficiency.
So
It is a very
basically,
weird.
so basically,
It
the
is a very
classes is
weird
if you.
rule.
The classes is basically just your version of doing that in particular.
Yes. And it gives you something to do in London.
I mean, I'm all for the idea.
That way you guys can actually, your characters can say that they actually spend time in London instead of, oh, I'm coming back and I'm immediately being sent out on another mission. There's no real downtime or anything like that. It's just, I'm immediately being sent out.
I was also gonna say, like, I'm coming from the perspective of Hope, who is always done everything in her power to try to become better.
Yeah.
So I'm speaking in that perspective.
Yeah. I will say once you take, like, if you take botany, once you've taken botany and you have the proficiency in the nature skill, if you take it, if you're already proficient in it and you get that expertise in it, obviously, first off, it's not going to do you any good to take it again. But secondly, you wouldn't benefit from taking botany again if you took it one time to get proficient in it.
Right.
So, like in the practical or history of magic, you study either history or arcana.
Yeah, and in my case, I already have a proficiency in history, so I either get an
So,
expertise in history or I get a proficiency in arcana, which I use
if you,
arcana a lot.
yeah, which if you take it again and you took it, you would have to swap between proficiencies, basically.
Correct.
So you effectively can take them, but there is a point of just taking the basic courses aren't doing anything for you at all.
That's why I went with botany, so I can get the nature proficiency. I don't really need it in medicine because I'm already proficient.
Yeah. Oh, Flickers said he might dip out pretty soon.
It is getting late. So, headache, he said.
It's Yeah, it's part of his headache.
Well, I
So-
do have a suggestion from Flickr, or for Flickr. If he goes ahead and sends in the classes, can we make the dice rolls for him?
If you make it to taking them, like you're turning this in Friday at 5 o'clock.
Right.
It is currently Thursday.
Oh yeah, the Moros.
Yeah, you're doing the Moros stuff, and then the classes would start Monday the 20th.
Okay, we will buy you the fedora. What about the outfit?
What outfit?
Oh, the white. Oh, it was already gifted to him, right?
He got that from the Easter Bunny.
I was thinking that there was an outfit for sale.
No,
And
it's the fedora. The fedora, he's willing to, and he wants 5 to 10 paralyzing darts
All right,
for his
cool.
cane.
We'll do that. You can dip out if you need to.
Yeah. So, do we have?
My final message to the world. Goodbye. And thank you.
So, do we have any other questions about the clock tower classes? Like I said, this is something that is very new. So, as we communicate with each other, some things might change,
Okay.
like it did with self-defense. Now, the basic one that starts off in the morning is a group self-defense. Now, Marcus can take it again and actually as a private self-defense training, and he can get the extra ability point, and then from there move on up into like physical training.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't even care about the extra ability point. Just getting into the intermediate classes is what I care about.
I'm interested because I want to raise my constitution and my strength. I don't care about charisma right now. So I
And
got
if you
that.
look in the advanced physical survival enhancement, you gain proficiency in strength, dexterity, or constitution saving throws.
Right.
So, like, you can flat out, like in Marcus's case, he's already he's proficient in wisdom and charisma. He can gain proficiency in one of those three and have a third saving throw that he's proficient in without having to multi-class or anything. Or you can take like combat techniques and gain a fighting style.
I'm wanting to do like all of it.
Yeah. So
Hello.
think on that. So look at these lists, think on it. If you have a question or something that you want to discuss with me, we'll discuss it. Like I said, this is kind of new. I've never seen a campaign actually go forth and just offer something like this.
I think it suits the Fate style because this is like based around the clock tower, which is an institution in itself.
Yeah. So like I said, there will, if you want to discuss something, have an idea about something, I'm open to it. I may change some of the rulings on something in order to fit with that if I see, like where Marcus or Decaden brought up about the physical self-defense stuff. So I may change some rulings on that with some discussion, and I am open to discuss it with you guys. In the meantime, I am clearing ownership of Flickr. Whoever wants to play Flickr while Combi's away in order to finish out the session, we can go ahead and do that. In the event of reaching something that requires checks.
If nobody else wants to do it, I'll be willing to do it. But as far as checks go, I'm not very good at role playing a bard.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Caden just loves messing with Combi. Combi comes back and Caden's like, oh man, Flickr was involved in this massive orgy. Yeah. There were so many guys come by. I'm like, no, no.
And Sylvain was there too.
Ugh. Poor Combi. I don't feel bad.
Oh, did I tell you the side project before I brought it up about doing the Honkai Star Rail campaign stuff?
Yeah, you were telling me about that last Fate session. Or no, we did. We talked about it during the guilds.
So Combi actually agreed to go ahead and be the DM.
Nice.
Yeah. So he is currently on the lookout for players. I told him you might be interested, though I don't know about your internet situation given guilds and Fate.
Yeah, probably not. I haven't even been doing my own streams. Because one month I ended up with 70 gigs like right after a reset. So I was like, yeah, I'm not streaming this month.
Oof.
Yeah. I'm sitting at 41.86 and I have 27 days left in the cycle.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's one of those things I kind of limit myself on what I do with my internet. So I don't stream. Plus I'll be starting classes here soon. So I would be focusing on that stuff.
Well, congrats.
Yeah. Especially if I end up living at the dorms at the university. I mean, granted, I'll be able to use their internet, but I'm pretty sure I'll have roommates.
Yeah, just get one that has like a late night schedule for like Halo or something.
Get one, yeah, get somebody that actually understands and doesn't mind. That's all you got to do.
We also got to keep in mind, I'm more than likely to get paired up with somebody that's just out of high school, so they're young, and I'm almost 40.
Yeah.
So.
So I mean, that situation is probably more than likely true as well. Just saying.
Right. That's why I'm like, I'll play it by ear when it comes to. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna live at the dorms. I only thought about it because it's like an hour drive from where I live at, or an hour and a half almost drive.
Ooh.
I was like, I don't know if I want to make that drive every day.
Well, and I'm sure there's financial aid for people who need to live in dorms.
Oh yeah, no, I'm a ward of the state, so I'll always qualify for financial aid. Doesn't matter how old I get.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Wow.
I don't know what that means exactly, but okay.
Well, it means I don't actually have parents. I mean, I have my mom and my dad, but they're not biologically my mom and dad, and they never adopted me. So,
I mean, that helped out in the long run.
Yeah.
So they were being smart, I think, in my opinion.
All right, so getting back into the campaign.
Sorry about that, Sansu.
Ash, do you have any questions or any thoughts on the classes?
No.
Jade.
Jade's just gonna wing it.
Jade, are you awake?
Yep. I'm just gonna wing it.
Well, be sure to save it, look it over, and send me a decision off of what classes you're going to take, and we'll go through it.
Or do it the easy way, just pick the class you actually want, and then Zanza will make sure you use the lower classes.
uh, I already sent
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah, that's something you can do if you want to look above to the advanced classes and honor classes and um, intermediate classes, and just tell me like
I,
if there's an end point and say this is my end point. This is what I
I've
want.
already
Yeah, I've already,
plotted out my whole thing,
yeah.
and I just
So
added some to it. So mine's in player notes, the one that
yeah,
I keep updating.
Yeah, I
yeah,
sent you mine. We'll talk about it more later.
yeah. So
Back to the campaign.
anyway,
Sorry.
back to the campaign. Now that we're done with the class look, it is 1:45 p.m. You guys are exiting out the clock tower. Where are you guys going?
I guess to get the
Um,
fedora.
yeah. So the Taylor, Queen's Taylor,
All right.
right? That's who had the fedora. I know.
Yes.
Ari had to pick up her new gear at the tailor as well
I think she might have already picked it up.
I don't know when
at 12:30.
Oh,
Yeah, because if we were walking back, oh no, yeah, it does say return to Queen's Taylor to pick up Ari's new gear at 12:30 p.m. Okay, so yeah, we did get it.
yeah.
So now we just need to go back, get Flicker's hat.
And then go
I'm
to
just,
the balcony guy and
I
get
am
his
actually
rocks.
double checking for. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah. Leather armor of hiding. Yeah.
The rogue's more roguey.
Yeah. Can only be used, can cast lesser invisibility once a day. All right, so it's 2 o'clock. You guys make it back to Queen's Taylor. You realize this effectively means you went to Queen's Taylor, picked up the thing, left, come back immediately to Queen's Taylor's. um, as you come in, there's like, oh my, back so soon again.
We
Is
got
there?
paid.
Oh, well, that's always a good thing. Were you perhaps coming to inquire about the fedora?
Flicker's gonna say, yes, please.
That will be 75 pounds, most certainly.
Okay,
For a
let me,
charming gent such as yourself, who was there for us in our time of need.
Whoa. There's no more room in the orgy. Calm down, sir.
He is going to look at you with a very confused look, looking. Pardon me? That's, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but whatever the five of you do in your spare time is most certainly up to you. I'm fairly positive that neither me nor my wife would care to be too involved.
I can't stop laughing.
all right. Now we need to add the fedora to his list so I can equip it.
Yes. Did you already? I didn't know if you
Yeah,
already. Okay.
I deducted the funds.
I figured you deducted the funds, but I was just checking to see if you already had it up to drop into his, or if I'm going
No,
to.
I did. Yeah, you'll have to.
Okay, let
I,
me pull
I
it.
closed it out a while back.
All right.
This mother
Oh.
trucker has bag of holding.
Yes, that is something we had to put the stuff from the museum in.
Yes. Yes, I was going to say, you didn't know? I was like,
No,
oh,
I had
yeah.
no idea.
I was
No,
like,
How
he
oh,
much
was
was
yeah.
he
not.
given back?
He was not present, Dan.
Well, nobody gave it back, so.
Nobody asked.
Exactly. A lot of shit kind of went down, and the bag of holding was not on the forefront of everybody's mind. The Affinity Fedora is currently inside his inventory.
Yeah, I already equipped it to him.
A very
It does
strong-
require attunement.
Oh, does it? Okay. Let me.
So that will be a 30-minute period in order to attune to it.
Right.
Or no. No, we changed it for this one. That's right. For this campaign, it's an action to attune. You still have to spend a period of time identifying it if you do not have it identified. But it is an action to attune and 1 minute to unattune. Goodness, Flicker, I need that bag of holding.
Wait, if he has his own, I'm not giving him the other bag of holding. We are not creating a freaking black hole.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he didn't have his own bag of holding, but he did make a reference to asking about receiving one, which
Yeah,
cost 100 pounds.
he'll have to ask Conby.
He'll have to ask
I know, he
me,
just
I
asked.
guess.
Oh, is
Wait,
it your
cost
bag of
100
holding?
pounds?
No, he'll. I'm the only one with 100 pounds, I think.
No, I have over 100.
Already. Yeah.
He
Marcus.
didn't get paid.
Yeah. Laguna didn't get paid because Laguna wasn't a part of Switzerland.
All Laguna needs is the books.
Yeah, that's all
I
he's
need a
gonna
bag
use.
for the books.
That's what he wants the bag of holding for, is to put all his books in.
Exactly. So you've done that. Now where to?
The darts.
So to Bronson and Sons Pharmacy.
Correct. Now we are in the
How much did I pay for the cloak again? Or for the thing?
I do not remember.
We'll say it was 10.
No, it wasn't 10.
20?
Let me.
Just so that way I can know how much I need for the darts.
75.
75? So I only have 25 for the darts?
Yeah.
You and Hope got together and paid him for the armor.
Yeah, so you still
Before-
have.
Oh, it's already paid for.
Yeah, you still have whatever you have left.
Oh, okay. So I still have the 100.
Yes.
Yeah, I just kind of
Okay.
lent to hand because I know how important the cloak was. I'm trying to think of a team here. I am trying.
No, I don't have a bag of holding. You're not thinking of the team.
Again,
I
you'll
have
have
to
to
pay
ask
off my
Conby for the
hammer
bag of holding.
first.
All right. So it is approximately 2:15 p.m. You know, to kind of meet up at 6 o'clock over at the Chapel of the Calling. So you 2:15 p.m. You make it back over to Bronson. You know, Bronson normally a pretty gruff and direct person. Sees you come in and, yeah, what can I get for you?
Flicker's gonna ask for 10 paralyzing darts. Maybe I may have to drop that, but we'll go with what his top. He said 5 to 10, so we're gonna go to 10, and then if he can't get all 10, he'll get whatever he can get. How much did you say the darts were? The paralyzing darts were?
1 shilling.
Which
So 10 of them are £1, I think. Hold on, let me look at the money conversion.
I don't have mine up.
I need
Money conversion actually. 12 darts would be £1.
Let's get 12 for him.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
And Ari, do you plan on getting any darts? They're just a pound.
All right, if you want to go ahead and you handle that, I'm going to drop them into his inventory.
Okay.
He has 12 paralyzing darts that he can use in his dart cannon.
I guess Flicker rolls perception.
What?
How many can I
Yes,
carry?
legitimately. I mean, they are a quarter of a pound apiece, weight wise. It is 1 shilling for a paralyzing dart, sleep dart, and poison dart. It is £1 per fire, ice, or electro dart.
Yeah, I think I'm good on spending Flicker's money.
I think you're very good at it.
I guess
Well, I
I
mean,
would want to get. Oh,
I
sorry.
don't think I'm gonna spend any more of his money. I was thinking about getting him some more darts just to have on standby, but I think that'll do for now.
Flicker comes back, is completely broke, has like 100 darts.
Of various types.
Yeah. Or 100 of each type.
Oh, is this the pharmacy
He
that
doesn't
sells
have that much
potions?
money.
Yeah, true. So what? Oh,
Is this the pharmacy that sells potions?
yes.
And they're 25 pounds.
£50 for a potion.
Oh. Alright, I'll grab 1 potion.
So you want 1 potion of healing?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got the money.
I probably won't spend any money unless somebody can make me some heavy armor that looks like clothing.
Yeah, £50 for a potion of healing.
Cool.
You now have 1 potion of healing in your inventory.
I feel better.
All right. Ari, what were you? Laguna says he's taken 5 sleep and 5 paralyzing darts. So, Laguna,
That's a pound.
it is 12 darts to a pound.
Oh, okay. 6 of each then.
6 of each.
I also would like to do 6 of the paralyzing and the paralyzing and the sleep potion. Not potions. Darts. But then the other darts are the fire, ice, and the other one.
Electro.
The electric.
This is yeah. I'm resharing the list.
So how much in conversion would that be to a pound?
So if you're doing 6 of the, you said which ones?
6 poison. No, 6 paralyzing and 6 sleep. Well, actually, you know what?
That
No one has any we'll make it 4 of each. 4 paralyzing, 4 poison, 4 sleep. So that'll be 12.
that is 1 pound.
Okay.
I am going to go ahead add them into your inventory. Let me. All right. Now, the fire dart, ice dart, and electro dart are each 1 pound each.
I feel like it would be fine if I got 2 of each.
Okay. So that's going to be a total of 6 pounds, 7 including the status effect darts.
I'll go ahead and subtract that.
Okay. All right. And I've added them into your inventory. Now, is there anything else that you'd like to purchase?
No. I mean, that's a no for me. I
Getting
can't
a
speak for
potion.
them.
What kind? Just a healing potion?
What kind of potions are there again?
I got a potion of healing
You got a potion of healing
for 50
and
pounds.
all right. What else could I get?
Spitball an idea, and because you can pick up potions, poisons.
I was gonna say there's no kits for making potions, huh?
You could technically pick up something like that. That
But I
is,
wouldn't be able to afford it.
um, let me. I think it's. I think it's the herbalism kit. Uh, yeah, it's the herbalism kit. It is 5 pounds.
Take 1 herbalism kit.
Okay. Subtract 5 pounds out of your thing.
Okay. And I guess I would need stuff for the herbalism kit to make the potions, right?
You would. you could effectively go out and collect things. Now, it would be an intelligence check, and since you're not currently proficient in it, you wouldn't have a proficiency bonus added to it.
Okay.
And the DC would actually determine on like the degree of the potion.
All right.
Now you could pick up actually I think the herbalism kit holds a thing to store. No. So you would need something like a component pouch in order to actually store the herbs and stuff.
I'll buy a component pouch.
That is 25 pounds.
All right, I'll subtract it. And
All
that
right.
should be it for my purchase. If I don't need anything else.
Did you pull out the 50 for the potion of healing?
Did you add the potion of healing already?
You have one.
Oh, okay. Then I'll go ahead and subtract the 50. So that'll be okay. Perfect.
All right. Marcus, any shopping you wish to do?
Not unless they can make a medium or heavy armor that looks like clothes. No, I'm good.
Yeah. Hope.
Other than if my umbrella's ready.
It will not be ready until Saturday.
Yeah, so.
A week from the 18th is what I wrote down.
It was because it's 2 GP each day. So for the total cost that she had, it would have been up to Saturday. Plus, he's putting in overtime in completing it.
Did I pay the full amount?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because originally it was going to be a week. And then he was convinced to basically put in overtime and focus solely on this one job as a favor to the person that helped save his shop. So now he cut it from being a week down to a 3-day period. Because that got covered last session. Is there anything else you wish?
Nope.
Okay. So, Laguna, anything else from you?
No.
So I'm going to say between all that shopping, it is approximately 2:30 in the afternoon. So you guys tell me, is there anything else that you're wanting to do, or are you just wanting to kind of chill out until time to meet up at the chapel?
I was gonna do an alms box. until time to meet up to the chapel.
All right. Is there anybody else that's going to do anything?
We can have Flicker do his performance stuff while she's doing alms.
Okay.
Pickpocket
All
her.
right.
She's gonna steal.
So are you guys basically separating paths and then meeting back up?
I thought that was the idea.
Okay.
Laguna, do you want to do anything?
No.
Okay. Marcus, do you want to do anything?
No.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got
Go
a
eat
few
lunch.
things.
She's gonna go eat lunch. That's what he's gonna do.
Okay. So we've got a few things that's going to happen. Hope, I want a persuasion check. Flicker, a performance check. Ari, a sleight of hand check.
Good golly, everybody's playing Marvel Rivals today.
Hope, you pick up 4 pounds.
Nice.
Ari, you've managed to only be able to pickpocket 1 pound worth.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you pickpocket. You get a lot of pence today as you pickpocket. Flicker, nobody seems to be coming by to drop off money. Laguna, what are you doing?
Nothing.
No, he's
Just
reading.
waiting.
He's just reading.
Reading. Always.
Always.
Are you traveling with Marcus while you read, or
Just heading back to where we're gonna meet up.
Now
So
he
you
just
go to
heads
the
back
chapel.
early.
so you're just heading back to the chapel?
Yep.
And Marcus, you said you're going to go eat?
Yes.
Okay. Laguna, on your way back to the chapel, you have what is effectively a very interesting encounter. Roll me a
Oh, the bag of
perception.
holding. Ooh.
Roll me a perception check.
Encounter with the bag of holding, huh?
You don't.
That tracks. He's on his book. As you're in your book, you happen to slam directly into a person, a woman. Now, here's what's so odd about it. Despite you slamming into this woman, there's almost no recoil on her end. And while you're walking, you happen to, at this point, you look up into her. And while you do that, you also happen to notice out of the corner of your eye a brunette woman with a set of glasses walking off in the distance she seems vaguely familiar, but that's really not what's catching your attention as immediate as the woman that you crashed into looks down at you. Though she's wearing sunglasses, you can just feel the anger in her eyes as she immediately shouts at you. Once again, you hit her hard enough that you rebound back, but she hasn't even moved an inch.
Is she a half orc? Half giant?
She seems very human. This is once again Laguna doing this. She immediately looks down at you, and like I said, she's wearing sunglasses, but you can feel just pure hatred. And she says, "You should really watch where you're going."
Oh no, is this what I think it is?
I dust off the book, open it back to the page I was on, and walk around.
She grabs you by the shoulder.
I keep walking.
"Excuse me, I was talking to you." Try to keep walking. Roll me a strength check.
I saw that one.
Hold on a second. That's decent enough that I'm going to have to actually roll.
I figured, oh no, that's higher than I expected.
Yeah. You manage to slip out of her grate. Because as you do it, you feel this tug on you, but you manage to just barely break free, and you actually rip part of your cloak doing so. As she's still, "I was talking to you." And she's going to run up and she's going to attempt to grab you by the back of your collar. Are you going to resist or anything, or just continue to walk?
I'm gonna try and cast Unseen Servant behind me, so she has something else to grab.
Now, is this an obvious magic?
No. Let him have fun.
Laguna has never left the tower, okay?
This spell creates an invisible, mindless, shapeless that performs simple tasks.
But is it does he have to have a gesture, speak an incantation? I mean, what's the casting
It
requirement?
requires is verbal, somatic, and material.
So yeah, he would have to gesture. It wouldn't be
And-
obvious magic.
Right now, my big thing is how solid is this? Because it says it's shapeless.
Right. It basically it's just it would be like an invisible wall almost.
It would be
Because it has
like a
physical
thick
form.
cloud. There's resistance, but you wouldn't.
So
It's just a
she would
distraction.
effectively,
Unless
she
you'll just brute
effectively-
straight through it.
she does. She effectively reaches through it, grabs a hold of your collar. And now I'm going to have her roll another check. Oh, fuck.
Well,
At this point, there was a wall there. There's a wall off to one of the sides. And I need you, you're going to take 4 points of bludgeoning damage as she slams you against the wall. And enough force that you can actually feel the wall shake. Once again, this does not seem like a very strong woman at first glance.
Because she's not human.
She looks at you. She says, I said, watch where you're going.
Eyes of enfeeblement.
You need to apologize. Okay, so did you already use the spell for...
I did for Unseen Servant.
All right, so Eyes of Enfeeblement does not use a spell.
Correct.
Let me double check, because there's a limited number of times that you're actually supposed to use that, so I don't know why it didn't.
Once per short rest.
Once per short rest. Okay. Let me get this updated on your end. All right, so now we're going to check that. Ah. All right, what's your DC?
11.
I need you to roll me 1d6 necrotic damage. As you see the energy wash over her, she definitely seems to have taken the full amount of it. I am going to go ahead and do this. But she just seems to look at you and she's even more pissed. She turns around and basically backhands you. Dealing 9 points of damage.
Whew.
Can I use Chronal Shift? Force a reroll.
What are you re-rolling? Forcing
Their attack.
the attack itself.
Yeah. Ah.
It's still a hit.
I might have to come in and do a little rescue. Hold on.
Oh, we're nowhere near him.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I have channel points.
Again, we're oh.
The healing and stuff channel. So at this point, she's backhanded you. You've taken 9 points of damage from that. Plus, you're supposed to take the 4 points of damage from
GG. As in get good.
when you were slammed into the wall. And Marcus, I'm trying to figure out why you're prone.
I don't know.
Let's fix that.
It's a special type of restaurant.
I was prone at the start of this freaking session.
Yeah. Marcus has just been crawling along. everywhere.
I've been taking a nap. I did say at the beginning of the stream I was ready for a nap, so that's probably why he was prone. He was channeling his player.
Also, I choose to heal Laguna.
Roll me, Ash. Roll me 2d4.
I need to look at the combat tracker real quick.
Party sheet also works.
Pretty
You
sure.
managed to heal the 4 points that you took from being slammed into the wall.
That's much better.
But she looks at you, Laguna. She said, I said apologize to me, brat.
I'm gonna use light.
Let me review light.
On her, well, what would I be able? Would I be able to reach her sunglasses?
Roll me. How tall are you?
Not. 5'2".
Yeah, I'll
But if she's
say.
holding me at the collar and stuff, throwing me at a wall.
Yeah. And she basically backhanded you. Oh, yeah. By the way, you're prone. And you hit the wall again.
From the backhand.
Yeah, when she backhanded him, she slammed him back into the wall, and he's now prone. He didn't hit the wall this time hard enough to take damage from the wall. But it did throw him prone. So you are currently prone. You would have to stand up and attempt to grab at her glasses to do it.
Well, I could grab at something else on her too. The intention's to try and blind her so I can run away.
Okay. So what I'm going to have her do is roll a Constitution save versus your DC to see if you can temporarily blind her. What is your DC?
That is con 11.
She sees. She succeeds. I'm going to say a 22 succeeds.
Guess we're doing this again.
She is going to reach to grab you by your throat. Are you going to do something to resist?
Paralyzing dart.
Okay, I need you to roll the melee dexterity attack. So basically a dexterity check plus your proficiency bonus.
So proficiency 2, so plus 2 that.
That manages, you stick it into her. In your inventory, tick off one of your you did. And I am going to have her roll the save, which she nat 20s.
Wait, can I do a reroll?
You can. She still succeeds.
Oh, come on.
Chronal shift.
Chronal shift.
Roll again.
At this point, you see her begin to seize up. Now she remakes it at the end of each of her turns.
I run. I sprint. I get off a prone and I run.
All right. I'm going to have her roll it again. You see, it's just for a split second that it even works. And roll me a perception check.
Perception.
You can hear as you're running, you notice you get up as you get up from prone, and you're not able to make it far from her. But you can hear her looking back. You are also able to kind of tell a reddish glow behind her eyes, or behind her sunglasses. And you're able to hear, I swear, after I've destroyed that book, I'm destroying this whole damn planet. As she's got a snarling look on her face, and she begins to turn to go back towards the direction that you've just recognized to be in the same general direction. Actually, roll me survival. That's enough. You've not only identified the fact that this is the same general direction as the Chapel of the Calling, but more importantly, it's the same direction as the library. And given our time, I think that's where we're going to call session.
Ba-da-bum. Elegantly done.
Yes.
Get that woo bat, Jade.
We're going to call session with that. All I'm going to leave is as you're running, you notice the same familiar black orb of Moro is now attached itself to your shoulder. And you can hear, whoa, so harsh. It reminds me so much of a Karen.
Yes, that's what I was thinking you were going to say. Oh.
And we're going to end session.
Oh, that's how you're going to do it. Oh, that is so cheeky, Sansu.
Yes. Oh, you guys are about to love the education off of this whole Moro culture.
I feel bad for all of you.
No, there's legit 3 factions when dealing with Moro. The Morons, the Gooners, and the Karens.
There is silence. Everyone has done.
What do you say?
Yeah, listen. Listen as he repeats it.
There is 3 factions.
No. Before that, what did he say to Laguna?
so harsh, it almost reminds me of a Karen. And
Okay.
I will spell that out for you in chat. These are the three factions. For dealing with Moro Eldritch Being stuff.
Uh-huh.
So, have fun with that.
I love the fact that he didn't even pick up on it yet.
I'm taking notes.
I love the fact that no one has managed to pick up on these three factions.
Well, thanks. I guess I'm a nobody.
Well, you, of course, know because we discussed it earlier today. So, in addition to this whole moral thing, I've created a whole complete culture based around these three factions. There's a culture for the Kyrens. Think about what that sounds like. There's a culture for the Karens, the Gooners, and the Morons.
Goonies.
Yes! Though not the same
My
kind of
cut.
Goonies. Not the same kind of Goonies that you're thinking of.
Boo. Hey, you guys.
You didn't even get the K one?
No, I got the Karen one.
The Karen.
The
Basically,
Goonies one is what is more important to me. I listed in priority Goonies.
So
basically,
Gooner
one
is
for one.
actually...
Lagoon
yeah,
just got
Gooner-
bitch slapped by Karen.
yeah. He just got slapped around by a Karen.
Really? You don't know Goonies? Shame. Shame.
So,
We might be too young, because I don't know the full extent of Goonies.
Okay, you guys gotta go watch the Goonies. It's your homework for this till next session.
Okay, I guess it's just me.
Oh, okay.
so Gooner is actually an NSFW term.
Okay, so we'll just leave it as Gooners and not explain.
I
Basically,
mean, it's a widely used term in today's lingo.
Yeah, I stated earlier, I'm almost 40, so
So,
So am I, but that doesn't mean I don't understand.
Age means nothing.
I generally avoid it.
all right, I'm going to share it in Discord with you,
Okay.
with him specifically.
Oh.
And you know what? I'll go ahead and in our stream chat, just share the link right there.
Time to open it.
What the hell? All right, gotta remove this from my browser history.
Senzu!
Yeah.
That reaction is perfectly normal. 1-1. We're about to hit an ad break. We should end it.
Yeah, I'm going to. Well, we're about to end the ad break.
Yeah.
Okay, we've ended the ad break.
Don't worry about it,
This-
121.
Google it. That's all I'm going to say.
Don't Google it.
Don't.
Don't
As a
Google it.
follower of Morrow, I have to update my deity, my faction. Now that I have this information,
Don't Google it.
You would recognize that you would have knowledge of the three factions. You don't have full knowledge of each individual action, but you do know that the other two factions do exist.
right?
So, as a moron.
This is what happens when you have the knowledge. You use it irresponsibly.
All I'm saying is, if you don't know what it is, don't Google it. It's not worth it.
I didn't even use Bing. I used Google. I don't know why. Oh,
Because
Microsoft Bing.
It's the way it's set up with Microsoft Edge. Bing pops up. Unless you have Norton used as a default or something.
No,
If you've seen enough, you would know what it is. I'm just going to point that out.
Hey, here's a new one. Gooner versus Coomer.
And we're done. Good night, everyone.